are live. Am I on time? 5:59. We are gathered here today to get through this thing called life. Electric word, life, it means forever, and that's a mighty long time. Hello, everybody. We're live. The afterworld. Where's everybody at? Nobody's in the room yet. You can always see the sun. There we go. Here we go. Erica. Woo woo. Hi. So when you call I can see that. Okay, we got Prince going. Come on, everybody. It is 6 o'clock. A lot of people are starting to watch the replay. And that's okay. I hope you have your wine and your food, your wine ready, your music going. I do not own the rights to this music. I always have to say that because, they snap my videos down sometimes. And I don't want that to happen. This is virtual pink party number 8. The Balloon Girl. Isn't she cute? She's one of my favorites. This is an Angelique original. A lot of times I'm inspired by other paint party pictures that are out there. There's like a paint party club where you can just copy everybody's stuff and nobody cares. But this is actually an Angelique original. Be available in magnets and posters. And I just love this little girl. Just like 3 colors that we're going to use today to create this masterpiece. And it just looks so fun. So, who's watching? Let's see. I can't see that. Sean Murray, hi! Glad you're doing well, ladies. I love your videos. I love your song playing the guitar. My co-host here is Mr. Miles Daniels. What? He's not going to show his face yet because there's not enough people in there. I'm going to wait a little while. My daughter plays the guitar. I keep wanting to get her to play, but she won't do it. All right, for those of you joining me today, we're going to play a little Prince music in the background here as long as I can get away with it. And, oh, what are you drinking? Let me know what you're drinking. I like to ask that question before you get into the painting. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Angelique, and I am the shoe chick. When you paint with me, kids in Africa get shoes. There's a way bigger story behind that, but we're just going to go with that for right now. So, get comfortable. Unpack your tools if you haven't already. Everybody that's painting with me today received a paint kit, curbside pickup. They pulled up. They got these 3 paints that we're going to use today to create this masterpiece. Using a 16 by 20 canvas here. They got that too. And a pack full of all their supplies. And a special little Mary Kay gift. And I hope that Miss Sonora joins us today, because we didn't talk. We should have. But she was gracious enough to include some satin hands. Everybody's hands are taking a beating out of the washing of the hands that we're doing, so we thought that'd be a cool gift. On the back of your gift certificate is her phone number or contact information if you want to give her a call to order more, or even to schedule a free facial. I'm doing a facial with her next week with my daughter, so I hope you enjoy the Mary Kay gift. Miles Daniels is my co-host today. Say hi, Miles.
Hello.
He's excited to be here, as you know. As all my relatives are that I usually end up paying to hang out with.
Ebony said something. She said, hi, Angie, you're going to tip, go live on the RCU page. That's how I sweetie my mom up.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we're going to keep it moving here. The wine that we're sampling today, that I'm enjoying today, is called Bread and Butter. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm a huge Chardonnay fan. So, usually, well, not usually. I try not to drink before we get started because I want to be sober when I'm doing this, So, the painting does it better as you go along when you're drinking. But anyway, my favorite wine glass here. Isn't it beautiful? I just love this glass. I'm going to try Bread and Butter, and it is from, where is it from? I didn't even read it. I just picked up, they sold me on the name. Bread and Butter Chardonnay, I don't have my glasses on. Ooh, big print on the back. Napa Valley, classic California Chardonnay with hints of rich vanilla, toasted oak, cream, perfect when enjoyed chilled, and with equally pleasurable foods. Man, they just sell me on those descriptions.
Vanilla oak, I smell it. Oh yeah, this is a good one. This is a good one. Bread and butter, I'd recommend that. Napa Valley, usually can't go wrong with Napa Valley. Yeah, pick this one up if you're a Chardonnay fan. I'm having so much fun with the wine, you have no idea. But anyway, okay. Moving forward. Ooh, what's up in there? All right, let's get into this painting. For those of you who have painted with me before, you've already put the light coat of water on your canvas to activate the canvas so it's ready to accept paint. And this is how it works. I take you 90% through the painting, and then you do the other 10%. I give you the lay of the land, and you finish it. And I want you to be creative, because this is art. It's a representation of who you are in this moment, and this is a crazy moment, isn't it? I hope you all had a decent week and it wasn't too crazy. I know it's starting to get to people a little bit, and I hope this kind of takes the edge off things for you. It's my therapy as well as yours. Let's reach into that packet that we have here. Oh, I didn't put my reference photo up there. Miles, I'm slipping. You're supposed to catch all these little things. I took one down and I didn't put it up. Well, this is our reference photo. That's included in your kit. That's what you refer to if you're obsessive and compulsive and you want to make it look exactly like that. So you're going to refer to it every now and then, maybe hold it really close. It's up to you. But if you want to change something about the little girl, if you want to change her hairdo, because you know I didn't even put in her Afro puffs, because if you want to change her hairdo, which I wouldn't change it because I think it's cute, but you can put a bun. I do like buns. You can put a bun on top of her, or you can do whatever you want. But it's totally up to you. Totally up to you. Okay, so what I'm going to do first, I'm going to reach into my baggie. You have a white apron. For those of you who haven't painted with me before, you have a white apron. You're going to take that white apron and you're going to open it up. It's going to fully open up and go over your head to protect your clothes from the paint, okay? I'm not going to put mine on because I like my shirt. You guys like my shirt? This is different. This isn't like the other one. I really like this. I'm really getting into these things. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put a light coat of water on my canvas. I'm taking that cup. I hope you filled it up with water. I forgot to tell you that for those people that haven't joined us before. So, who are first time painters. So I'm just going to dip my paintbrush in here. Now we're going to be painting for about 45 minutes, okay? Just so you know, because some people want to know how long it takes. So, water. I see some people saying some stuff, Miles. Anything I need to know? You don't have to read everything. Just let me know.
Well, Sonora said hi, everyone.
Hey, Sonora's on here. Woo-hoo! Sonora's our Mary Kay lady. That included the wonderful free gift of satin hands. Sonora, I don't know if you heard me say that. I was like, I hope she's on here because we didn't talk today. Sonora, I want you to include your link to your page in the comments so people can find you easily, okay? What I'm doing is putting a light coat of water on the canvas to activate the canvas so it is ready to accept paint. That's all I'm doing. Don't worry about washing the pencil lines away. It's kind of hard to do it, but it's a light coat of water. Light. Don't make it soppy. Wait. If you put too much water on it, you're going to take that blue paper towel that you have in your packet and maybe just dab it just a little bit. Okay? Just a little bit. So Sonora was also telling them that we have a free facial schedule on Thursday of next week. So any of you that want to have a facial and have fun with Sonora, it's virtual. So she drops off the products to you, and you meet her, I think on Zoom or maybe Facebook Live. I'm not sure which one it is, Sonora. And she teaches you how to use the products. So me and my daughter are doing it, and I think it's going to be really fun. So I just wanted to mention that. Sonora is a director, and correct me if I'm wrong in the notes, Sonora. She's got like 6 cars. She's earned like 6 cars through Mary Kay. Correct me if I'm wrong on that too, Sonora. So she really knows what she's doing, and she's fun. So, yeah, so enjoy your gift.
Ebony said, set my mom up to view the live on the Art Chick Studio page. I'm not with her now to send her personal
Okay,
message.
let me get that back in just a minute. I'll take a look at that in a minute. Okay. So, first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our blue handled paintbrush, tiny little bit of paint there, and we're gonna go right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna outline everything. We're gonna outline the girl, we're gonna outline the balloons. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna paint the black at the bottom, and then we're gonna paint the background in gray, okay? So for anyone, if you have someone, I'm not real sure what Ebony was saying there, and I don't wanna go over the whole thing, but if you have someone that is having trouble getting on or can't find me, you can always watch the replay. So the replay will be available. It doesn't disappear for a while. And you can also upload the replay on YouTube, on my YouTube channel called Angelique Paints. So if you're having trouble, if somebody's having trouble finding me, don't fret. Have no fear. You can catch the replay later, okay? So I have a small, little tiny bit of black paint on the very tip of my blue handle paintbrush. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to outline the girl. And I'm doing that for a couple reasons. I want you to be able to see her better as we go along. And we're going to need some of these lines later. The lines in the balloon. We're going to drag that into the red as we paint it. And it's going to give some depth to the balloon. Make it come to life. A very tiny, small bit of black paint. Okay? If you put too much, wipe it off on your blue paper towel. So it's not so much, not so bold. Going around her little feet. Then I'm dipping a little bit of more in my black and wiping it off a little bit. And I'm going right over these lines. Not perfect, doesn't have to be perfect. Anybody say hi in the comments, Mom? Is everybody cool?
Yeah, everything's good.
Everybody's good?
Sonora said yes. I'm excited to see you and your daughter next Thursday. I'm loving the virtual parties. It's easy peasy. You're hanging out at home, chilling and relaxing.
Oh, and getting a facial. I know. We're excited. We're looking forward to it, Sonora. We're looking forward to our virtual facial. So again, if you're interested in doing that, hit Sonora up. She put her link in the comments there, and her phone number's on the back of that gift certificate. There's some mostly $10 ones, but there's $10 off gift certificates and $5 off gift certificates in there with their satin hands. Okay, so I outlined my BalloonGurrl. That was pretty easy, right? I want to hear my music more. You guys know this week was the anniversary of Prince's death. I can't believe it's been like, how many years was it, you know? Can you believe my son has never seen Purple Rain? I'm ashamed to say. So tonight is movie night, and we're going to watch Purple Rain this evening. I couldn't believe it. I know. That's going to be a good movie for him to watch. Okay, so I outlined everything. Now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take my foam brush. Now I don't know if you were let it rest in your water. Please don't let it rest in your water because it sucks up all the water. But if you did, you're going to shake it off and you're going to wring it out a little bit with your hands because we don't want that much water in it. So I have just a very small amount of water on this brush. I'm going to go right into my black paint, just the tip of it. And I am going to draw a line right underneath my little girl's feet. I'm just using the very tip of this paintbrush. Not much paint on it at all. Black is very powerful. I see that wet shameful on it. I know. That was a confession. I think he's seen Purple Rain. I just think he doesn't remember it. He's only 19. But anyway. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm painting in the silhouette of the ground with my sponge brush. I am filling in. It does not take that much black paint. And I know you're probably looking at your paints and thinking, she didn't give us that much paint. But it's going to be plenty, believe me. So we want it to be pretty opaque. That's why I don't want that much water on your brush. If you put a lot of water on your brush, you're probably going to have to put another coat later. Because we don't want to see any white coming through because it kind of takes a little effect. Oh my gosh, hey, Angelique in California. She has a paint party business too. How weird is that? Girl, we gotta talk. I really enjoying the virtual paint party stuff. So, solid down there, okay? If you got too much water in your paintbrush, it's a little, you can see a little bit of the canvas coming through. And you can just add another coat later. So now what I'm gonna do, I have black on my paintbrush. What I wanna do is I wanna do the background. See how the background's a really, really, really light gray? It's very, very easy to put too much black in it. So I want you to do, we're gonna use the sponge brush to do the background. I'm resting this blue handle brush, I'm resting that in my water. The reason I'm resting it in the water is because we're painting with acrylic paints. Acrylic paints dry very quickly, and that's why we're resting it in there. So I don't want to be all up in your face like that. I want y'all to be able to see the painting. Okay, so there's still black on my sponge brush. Now I don't typically paint with a sponge brush. The reason why you have a sponge brush in your kit is because I wanted everything to be disposable. If you plan on painting with me a lot, you should invest in some paintbrushes, all different sizes. So what I would be using is a bigger paintbrush, maybe something that looks like this, something that's going to give you some coverage so that, you know, you're not taking all day to do that. Okay, so there is still black paint on my paintbrush. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open my white paint. I'm going to use my mixing tray that I have. I'm going to pour a little bit of white paint on there, about a tablespoon. I'm going to take my sponge brush and I'm going to mix in there a little bit. I already have black on my paintbrush because I did that brown. It's going to make it gray, right? And I want it super, super light gray because if it's not super, super light, when we paint the little girl in, it's not going to have a good effect, okay? So I didn't even add any black. This is the black I still had in my paintbrush. Painting in the background. Now look how dark that is. It's still too dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of more white paint and I'm going to add to it.
As you said, I am so excited and inspired by you, Travis, and Chris, and Angelique.
Oh, thank you.
You are spreading the creative joy. You are amazing. Nora told me that you were about to go live and I just had to hop on and see the magic.
Thank you, Angelique. I appreciate that. So, what's happening with me right now is I have too much black on my brush. So I'm going to rinse my brush out in the water. I'm doing that with my sponge brush here. Can you get that back? And then I'm going to dry it off a little bit. I love going live because you can see all the mistakes. And I'm going to go right into my white and I'm going to lighten it up. Another way that you can lighten it up is just adding a little bit of water. Because it is way too dark for me. So that's why you have more white paint than anything else. So I'm painting my background in gray. I do not own the rights to this music, by the way. I have to say that because I don't want my video to be snatched down. So what I did is I added a little bit of water, I added a little bit of more white paint, and I'm lightening up that background with my sponge brush because it was way too dark. So I washed it out basically in my water to get some of the black paint off of it. I still think it's too dark. So I'm not going to put any more paint on my paintbrush. I'm just dragging what I have throughout the painting. And I'm using the tip of my foam brush as I get closer to her body. And don't forget the area between her dress and her arm there. That's supposed to be gray too. So yeah, that's just way, still don't like it, still think it's too dark. I'm using the flat of my brush now. Not the tip, the flat of my brush. I'm not putting any more black paint on there. And I'm just dragging what I have on my brush all the way out. I'm actually still going to paint the sides of my canvas, because you guys know that's called wrapping your painting. So So this takes a little while, so you gotta play around with it a little bit. I don't want it to look stripy, so I added a little bit more water to my paintbrush. And I'm gonna add, if you get some little drippings on it like I have, you can just wipe it off. I'm gonna add more white. So I have water on there trying to smooth out everything. That's why you see those little drippings. Because I don't want it to look stripy. And you can go over that. What's that?
No, mine's good.
Everybody good? See how it's smoothing out? Because I added a little bit of water to it. And I'm dripping a little bit, but that's okay. Because I'm going to take my blue paper towel and I'm going to dab it down here at the bottom so I can get rid of that. Okay?
So, Mom, what's your favorite Prince song?
My favorite Prince song?
Yeah.
I like the Dirty Mind album. My favorite Prince song is Party Up. I really like that song. So when I'm feeling down or something, I come in here and I blast that sometimes. What's your favorite Prince song? You should type it in for me. Okay, so I used water and lightened up mine, but now I'm still not happy with it. So I'm going to take a little bit of white that I put in my mixing tray, and I'm going to go into the white, because I had gray and then I had a little white on the side. I'm going to go into the white and I'm going to even lighten it up even more by adding more white to the background with my sponge brush. This is tricky. Sometimes it takes a while to get your background right. And that's okay. Don't stress about it. Just have fun with it. Try to get really close to the lines that we traced.
You like Prince more than Michael Jackson?
Miles just asked me if I like Prince more than Michael Jackson. As an adult, I like Prince more. As a kid, I like Michael Jackson more. So it depends on what stage of my life that I'm talking about. Because I was a good kid, so I don't really understand what Prince is talking about. So, but as an adult, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. So, yeah, now I like Prince better, but growing up, I like Michael Jackson. That's a good answer, huh? Is that a good answer, Mom?
Yeah.
Okay, so I am happy with my background now. This is all we're going to use this brush for, this sponge brush for, is doing the background. So, I'm going to give you a chance to catch up. Remember, don't make your background too dark. If you made it too dark, add a little bit more white paint. Like I'm still going to add, like this side is still too dark for it. So I'm going to add some more white paint to it. Because you have quite a bit of white paint. And the only thing you have to use the white paint now for is making pink and a few other highlights. Alright, I'm going to give you a chance to catch up on the background. Because it takes a little while. So have fun with it. Make it light. Don't make it dark. We don't want it dark. Because the glow won't show up. Now, I always say that there's no mistakes. There's happy little accidents. Actually, that's what Bob Ross says. There's only happy little this time. He says there's happy little accidents. I believe that too, but I do believe there's some critical points. And one of the critical points is we don't want the background to be too dark. So wherever you have it at now, maybe add a little bit more white paint to it. I'm going to let you get caught up, and I'm going to get my shout-out list. I'm going to disappear for a minute and get my shout-out list, because I like to shout everybody out while you're finishing the background. I love when it looks like this, because it's all raggedy looking, and it like comes together in the end. You see how I messed up? Like I dropped my paintbrush, I had little drippings coming all down it. I love doing live, because it gives you an idea of the process. Like people, like I've been doing this forever, and I'm painting sideways too, so cut me a little black on that. I am taking sideways. But, you know, there are no mistakes, really. You just go on and you complete and you fix it and you just go on and you apply layers and you smooth things out and you add water and you take a look at it with your artist eye. You know how artists like go like this? You step back and you look at it and maybe you go get some line and maybe you come back to it. Okay, I'm going to stop babbling while you finish because I want to get my shout out first.
Sharina said, hello, love this. Thank you so much.
Oh, Sharina, thank you. I have a lot of regular painters, and I'm so happy for that. I'm so grateful. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We are only going to do one paint party next week. I hope that's not too disappointing. I'm working something kind of multicultural, sort of different, kind of with a Picasso flair to it. I'm going to promote it a little bit more heavily, like creating an event on Facebook and see where that goes. So far, I've only been like advertising on Facebook. No, not even advertising. I just post and see what happens. So I'm going to do one and see how that goes next week. This has brought me a lot of business, so I'm super, super happy. I got a lot of projects going on. I just want to thank a few people like Erica. I don't know if Erica has a birthday party going on or what she has going on, but she picked like 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know how many kids she picked up for me. So Erica, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Shalina's a regular, thank you so much. Who else? Angel, thank you. Maritza, thank you. Janice, thank you. Varnessa, thank you. Tanya is a regular, thank you so much. So I really, really appreciate all you. I think you guys are having a party. I don't know if somebody's having a party somewhere, but anyway, thank you. So here's my little girl, the balloon girl. How are you guys? Are you guys doing okay? Ooh, raspberry beret. Who likes raspberry beret, that song? Have you ever heard this song? Oh, okay. I should have had a raspberry beret on today. Because artists like wear berets. You know what a beret is? Say yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. All right. This is what we're going to do next. We're going to take that blue handle brush, swish it around in our water, wipe it off. We're going to go into our black paint. Oh, that's what you're trying to do for me. Dry my paint, black paint on the floor, which is okay. Did you know that? Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in everything that's supposed to be black. Look at your reference photo. I'm trying not to talk so much because I really want you to hear the music. It's kind of nice little vibe here. So the kits right now are only $15 for curbside pickup. It's usually $25 to pay with me. But I wanted to do something special for my peeps in Las Vegas. And it's been fun. It looks like we're going to be shut in for a couple more weeks. That's going to be interesting. So this might be the wave of the future for me. I also created to-go kits that can be mailed. So if you want to do a private event on Facebook with your family, we can do that. So if you're not sure what's supposed to be black, you're just going to take a look at your reference photo. Basically, everything's black. The white that's in there, we're gonna add as when the paint is dry. I'm using the tip of my paintbrush to outline again. If you can't see the outline shown, and then I'm painting in with the flat of my paintbrush so I can get more coverage. So the tip and the flat is what I'm working on. So what they do on Facebook, sometimes they mute out part of your video. So I hope they don't mute out part of my video. I do not own the rights to this music. I think I'm supposed to say that. Okay, using the flat of my paintbrush, I'm filling her in. Now I have black on my brush, of course. I'm gonna try to use black everywhere I'm supposed to use it. I'm gonna put a bigger flare on a dress there.
Well, Alicia said I will be back next week.
Okay, well, Alicia, thank you. I know you're busy, girl. I see you. So I'm painting it in, going kind of fast. Pretty easy, right? I always say my paint parties are like paint party 101. You're not gonna have anything fancy, no perspective drawing, no color theory. Sometimes you mix paints like, primary, secondary colors. What's that glitter? Is that glitter? Oh, this is on my shirt showing. I think.
No, it's some light.
Oh, it's the sun? I don't like that. I'm glad it's not on the canvas. Okay. So I did her head, I did her neck, I did her dress. Now I'm gonna do her legs. And I'm just gonna do them like a triangle because the white, you can leave a little bit of white in the middle. And then we're gonna extend it, we're gonna bring that out a little bit with white paint later. I'm doing pretty good for painting sideways, I think. I'm just gonna keep my more in this. Remember the tip of the paintbrush when you need a fine line, and then the flat of the paintbrush when you need a broad line, or when you're painting the paintbrush. I have black on my paintbrush. I'm going to put more black in the ground here. And if you look at your reference photo, there's a little texture in the grass, like it looks like little blades of grass sticking out. I don't know if you noticed that or not. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the side of my paintbrush, it's the corner of my paintbrush, and I'm going to just lightly make little V's. So one line this way, one line that way, one line this way, one line that way. And it kind of looks like little blades of grass. It's kind of cool, huh? Is that cool? Yeah. It's cool. I know it's cool. It's not cool. So little V's. With the very corner of my paper. I put another coat of black on there because my grass wasn't dark enough for me. She's coming together, and I'm excited, and I don't like the way the sun is showing it. Oh, maybe if I... Why is the sun like that? Weird. You want to pull the curtain down? Yes, I think that's it. The sun is setting. It's 6:30 here in Las Vegas. Yep. As soon as you walk in front of there, that glare came on. That's why it's nice to have an assistant. Okay. So, I did the black silhouette of her body. I did the grass, another coat of black. I did these in the back that way, Mom. I did all of that in the corner. Yep. Perfect. Okay, so I did lines in the grass, like little V's, so that you can see some texture in the grass. I hope you guys can see that. I got the grass in here. I want to take it off here so you can see the grass a little bit better. Nothing fancy. Nothing fancy, people. Okay. All right, so what's next? You can freehand the Afro puffs. Totally. But if you're not feeling very confident about freehanding your Afro puff, I have included a small piece of chalk in your paint kit. So what you can do is carefully put the circles where you want them for her Afro puffs. They're just circles. Kind of looks like Mickey Mouse. Also, if you're not super comfortable with drawing those straight lines from the balloons, you can take your chalk and right in the middle of every balloon, you want it to lead to her little fist there. So right in the middle of the balloon, down to the fist, right in the middle of the balloon there, to the fist. Now there's some fancy stuff going on with those strings. If you look at your reference photo, there's a lot of curly cue things going on, right? That's why I gave you the chalk. If you're not feeling comfortable, use your chalk and kind of guide yourself in making those big swirls. And you don't have to do them like that, or maybe you don't want to do them at all. Maybe you have a different idea. So I don't know if you can see that. Now you can. Those are the lines that I'm going to follow with my black paint. Okay? Blue handle paintbrush. I think I need more one. Okay. I'm going to scoot my canvas up a little bit. I just don't like my angle today.
You can tell again.
What?
The picture. It's right here.
Can you go around and get it? Yeah, I got a serious case of dropsies today. All right. So now, what I'm gonna do, blue handle paintbrush coming out of the water, tapping it off on the side of my cup, drying it off really good, taking a little tiny bit of black paint, tiny, even wiping it off on this blue paper towel. Following my chalk lines. I'm not trying to do one totally straight, almost dropped something. I'm not trying to do one totally straight black line. That's too difficult. I'm doing a little bit at a time. Little bit at a time. Little bit at a time. And we can make it look straight with white paint behind it. Little bit at a time. I'm not doing one big swoop. You can do that if you can. If your paint is sticky and it's not flowing the way you want to, just add a little bit of water to your paintbrush. I'm using the tip of my paintbrush, the corner of my paintbrush, to get around these swirls and get a really thin line. Corner of my paintbrush. Now, if you invested in paint brushes, it'll be your really fine tipped paintbrush that you would use.
Maggie said you are amazing on how you pivoted in your business.
Hi, Maggie. Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, God just tells me, gives me an idea in my heart, and I just kind of go with it. And I don't even ask if it makes sense anymore. When I hear them, I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm supposed to do that. Okay, let's see how that works. So, thank you. I appreciate that. So, a little tiny bit of paint at a time, going around, doing a swirl. Using the corner of my paintbrush where I need to have a really thin line. I get excited because I see it coming to life. So I didn't try to do one straight line. I did a little bit at a time. And it's right in the middle of every balloon leading to that fist of hers. Then my favorite part is the hair. I love doing the hair. So I'm going to just go with right along those chalk lines, right on top of those chalk lines. She's kind of looking like Mickey Mouse right now. I'm going to show you how to add a little bit of texture to the Afro puffs, as well as that fun little design at the bottom of her dress. So you can make them big. I think, let me look at my reference photo. Her Afro puffs are pretty darn big, so don't be scared. Keep dropping that.
No,
I know, we have a fan going out here. Because it's like 90 degrees today in Vegas. It's like a record-breaking weekend, and I'm okay with that. I love it when the sun is shining. That's why I don't live in Michigan anymore. Sorry, my Michigan friends. Okay. So you can make the Afro puffs, of course, as big as you want them. The bigger the better. She really does kind of look like Mickey Mouse. No, really noticed that. I love these silhouette paintings because they're easy to do. You can just have fun with it. Don't stress out about it. Like I said, if you want to change it, here it is, change it, here it is. Okay, how do you get some texture going on in those afro puffs? Use the corner of the paintbrush. You go along the edge, kind of like you do the grass. And you just tap your paintbrush along the edges of the afro puff. And you'll see the kind of results that you get. You get like, it looks like it's kind of messy, kind of fun. I love doing that. All around the corners. Now this effect that we're doing is the same effect we're going to use at the bottom of our dress. So remember that gray paint that you mixed to do the background? Hopefully you have a little bit left on your mixing tray. And if you don't, I'm blowing on my painting because I can see some of the chalk. So I'm trying to remove some of the chalk. Or you can just paint over it. And then later on, if you still see chalk marks, don't try to wipe them off and touch them off. When the paint cures on here, then you can wipe off the chalk marks, okay? Or you can add a little bit of water, but I like to do it the next day. All right, so if you have a little bit of gray still on your paint palette that we mixed earlier, mine is dry now because I have a fan going on. I'm going to make a little bit more gray. You can scoop a little bit of white out of your cup with your paintbrush and mix it in your mixing tray. Kind of like how we did the hair. You're going to go along the bottom of her dress and just kind of pat your paintbrush down, back and forth, kind of turning it back and forth, and you'll see the texture effect that you get. It's kind of fun. Then you're going to, don't even wash off your paintbrush, just go right into your black paint, and then go right over that. Just a tiny bit of black. Tiny, tiny bit of black on your paintbrush. Kind of turn your paintbrush back and forth, kind of just dabbing it on there, and you'll see what I mean, the kind of effect that you're getting there. So we did a little bit of gray. I'm just making a little bit more gray for myself. That's fun, huh? I think that's fun. It looks like she has a really cool dress on. And she does. Now let's get into the red. Well, actually that's not. So I'm going to work on the background just a little bit more. In the top of in your reference photo, which I keep dropping on the floor here because I usually tape it up there and I did this time. I'm looking at my reference photo and there's some black in the background. I'm taking a little bit of black on my blue handle paintbrush and I'm just going to add some lines and give some interest to the background. It's kind of boring, right? There's some lines over here, a few lines in the middle. And what do? If you want to soften up those lines, you go into your white paint and just go right over them. Or you can even add a little bit of water to your paintbrush. You can go on the side if you want to make sure you have enough white paint. You can go on the side of that paintbrush and scoop up on their paint cup and scoop up a little white paint just to soften it up a little bit so it doesn't look really, really stripy. You can even use your sponge brush again if you want. It's probably a little dry right now, but if you add a little bit of water to it, you can soften up those lines a little bit with your sponge brush. Those lines are just a little too hard for me. Yeah, remember this song? Oh my gosh. Remember Prince with the hair? With the long straight hair? This album was like long. Okay, so I'm adding a little bit more black there just to add a little bit more interest to the background. All right, what about those balloons? Put a little bit more white paint on my brush. Just soften it up just a little bit. It takes a little while. Like, you really gotta play around with this. It just doesn't flow off your brush like that, you know what I mean? It really doesn't. So play around with it. Smooth it out, add a little bit of water. All right? So, I want to use that red paint. I don't know about you, but you got a very small amount of red paint because this is a different kind of red paint. It's like a medium body. Usually the paints we use are pretty fluid, but this one is one of my favorites. It's like from Big Blick, and it's pretty thick. But it's not a heavy body, it's like a medium body paint, so you don't even need that much. You're gonna look at your reference photo, and I think the heart right here should be the darkest one, but you could do it any way you want. So I'm gonna make this one, I'm gonna outline them, and then I'm gonna paint it in, because that's what we do. So where are all the dark colored ones? Because you have red on your paintbrush right now. So we have these other two that are dark. So both these are dark. And then we have two that are pink. It's just a very, when you have heavier body paint, of course, you don't need as much to get the coverage that you need. I'm not trying to make sure they're perfect circles, because there's a way that we can trick everybody into believing that they're perfect circles. Okay? And I'm going to show you that. Okay? Okay. There's also a dark balloon right there, right? There's two things I want to show you. Then I'm going to leave you alone to complete your painting and post your masterpieces for me, okay? All right. These are the two things. I want to show you how to make pink, and then I'm going to tell you to add all the white highlights last, okay? So to make pink, pretty simple, right? A little bit of white paint. You can lift it right out with your, swish your paintbrush around in your water, wipe it off on your paper towel. Lift a little bit of white paint out onto your tray, because it doesn't take that much. I'm going to lift a couple of them out there. I'm going to take a little tiny dip into my red paint, and I'm going to make pink. And so I'm going to add my pink right next to all the other balloons there. We've been painting, we've been together almost 50 minutes now. So I'm about to sign off here in a minute. But I just want to show you one more thing. So that's your pink balloons. Paint parties are usually 2 hours long, and we've only done 1 hour because I've just basically showed you the lay of the land, how to do it, how to do each step. Now it's up to you to apply all the details. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a look at your reference photo, and you're going to look at the balloons and see what you need to add, and you're going to look at her hair and see what you need to add. The only color that's left out of this is white. So you're going to look at your balloons and maybe add another color, another layer of red to make it stand out a little bit more, because the acrylic paints get brighter and better as you apply different layers. And then the very last thing you're going to do is use your white paint for accents, okay? The reason why we wait until last is because we want it to be dry. If you put white paint on this black dress, her belt's going to be gray. So you can, the way we've worked our way around the painting, it should be dry by now, because mine is dry. But if it's not, you can blow on it. You can take your mixing tray and fan it, or you can get a blow dryer and blow it dry. But mine is dry, and that's why we do certain steps the way that we do, because I want to work you around the painting so that we can add the highlights. In our ponytails, you'll see there's a little gray at it, kind of like we did the skirt for texture. But I have white on my paintbrush right now, and her dress is dry, so I can add the white right there for her, for the little ribbon on her dress. I can also, since I have white on my paintbrush and we did her hair so long ago, I can add these little ponytail things to her hair, and I can even put the part in the middle of her hair because it's all dry.
Sonora said this was so much fun. I'm so glad that I did this.
Oh, thank you,
Mine
Sonora.
doesn't
So,
look as good as yours at all.
thank you. When you see all the little dots in the sky there, like all the little twinkles as you work your way around the painting, I don't know if you can see that in the reference photo, but if you use the back of your paintbrush, I just dip it in paint, and you add little dots here, you get a little twinkle effect. And not until you're totally done with all of the red that you want, and if you've applied a second coat, you wait for it to dry, you can add a few white highlights to your balloons. A few white highlights to the strings of your balloons. But the white should be the absolute last thing you do. But I did notice something that I forgot. I didn't do the ribbon in her dress. So I'm gonna squish my paintbrush out. You can chalk it in if you want, or you can just go a little bit into your black paint.
So, Selena said, what if you want to?
And then you're gonna add, just 1 second, okay, Mom? You're gonna add a little bit of paint here, like a circle, to do the ribbon. And you can chalk this part out if you're not comfortable. Like, I'm just gonna make the ribbon. So if you're not comfortable, you can do that. Okay, what was the question, Mom?
She said, Selena said, what if you want to put a top puff as a hairstyle?
You do anything you want. It's your painting. So don't forget to sign your painting, because I never really talk about that. Don't forget to sign your painting, okay? Don't forget to take a picture and post it, because that's like my absolute favorite part of the whole thing when people post a painting. Now, I've taken like actually 99% through this painting, but it's not finished. This painting is not finished. Like, I would add like another coat of red to make my red balloon stand out. I would really work on the definition of the balloons, making sure everything's smooth. I would go over these lines a bit. It takes a while. You should work on this painting for at least another hour. Enjoy your wine, enjoy your music, and just enjoy the experience and try to get away from what's going on in the world right now. So, thank you so much. Again, I hope you enjoyed the satin hands in your packet, compliments of Miss Sonora Calvin. Her link is in the comments. Her phone number is on the back of that gift certificate. Set up your free facial. Use that satin hands. Our hands can use some TLC right now with all the hand washing and stuff we're doing. I thought it was like a really, really good idea. Be safe. It's crazy times that we're in, and all we can do is just do what the government says and stay home, be safe, and I'll see you next week. Oh, tomorrow. Actually, doing Cat Dog tomorrow at 6 o'clock, so if you want to paint with me again, you can come pick up a kit tomorrow between 2 and 4. All right? Be safe, everybody. Say bye, Miles.
Bye.
Thank you.